Let me know if you guys can hear me and if the sound's good and if the signal's good. I've been having some technical difficulties, man. I almost just was like, you know what? I'm not going to go live. Anyway, we're going to be talking about physical media today. So let some of you get in here and we'll figure this out. I'm not the most technically savvy person. So when I'm trying to go live, when I'm doing this, just a minute ago, like I tried to go live and then it was vertical. And then I went live and it was horizontal. And then it disconnected or something. I don't know what happened. But you guys got to let me know if you can hear me, if you can see me, and all that stuff. And if the sound's good. Because now I had to switch to a different phone because the other phone wasn't getting good service. So, yeah, very unprofessional live stream today. Welcome to the live stream. Hope y'all are doing well. We're going to talk about physical media versus streaming platforms, things like that. That's what we're going to be talking about. So let some of you guys get in here. If you can hear me and if you can see me and if the audio is good, let me know. If the audio is really bad, you got to let me know too because this is a different phone. I just don't know. All right, so here we go. Let me hack in here real quick. All right. That right there. All right, so it looks like I am live. Let somebody show up. Hello there. Hey, how's the audio on this one? I'm using a different phone. I love you, XOXO. Welcome to the house. Let me know how the audio is. If it's really bad, you gotta let me know because it's a different phone. But I'm gonna go ahead and get into it. Otherwise, you can just tell me in the chat if anything's wrong with the stream or whatever. It's okay. Does okay mean it's okay, or it means you can hear me, or the audio sounds like garbage? Because the microphone on this phone is not the best. But we're gonna go ahead and get into it. Physical media. I'm a big fan. And I wanted to run this by you guys and see if you guys use physical media as well. Like, what do you guys think about that versus streaming? I think we all use streaming platforms to some degree. I use streaming platforms at home because there's a lot of stuff the kids watch that's on there. But more and more sounds fine to you, Teal Horse. Thank you for stopping in. It's not garbage, but it's not the ultimate sound quality either. Yeah, I thought so. See, the microphone on this particular phone here is not the best. It's got problems. So if it starts really sounding bad, you guys gotta let me know, and I'll get right on off of here. I don't want to put out something that's total garbage because I know what it's like to try to listen to that stuff or try to follow along, and you want to participate, but it just sounds terrible. And if you're using headphones or something like that. But physical media, I use physical media whenever I can. So because I buy and sell things on eBay, I come across DVDs, VHSs, stuff like that all the time. And I got a couple sources actually where I get VHSs for like 10 cents. They're 10 for $1. So you can get old movies dirt cheap, right? And there's, especially if these are movies that when you're streaming them on Disney or Hulu or whatever like that, sometimes some of these platforms, they don't have all the good movies. And by the time you want to go get a good movie, you figure out what you want to watch, you go try to find it on a streaming platform, you end up having to pay $2 or $3 or $4. And I don't do that. So what I do is I just put these things on a list and I keep the list going. And I keep the list going, and when I'm out and about, when I'm at thrift stores, when I'm out looking for products and stuff, I will go over to the DVD section, the tape section, things like that, and pick up some physical media, man, dirt cheap. You guys should probably do this. Now, one of the cool things about it is that the physical media, once you buy it, you own it forever. Tapes don't last forever, but I have tapes right now that, they sound pretty good, they look pretty good. So I still actually watch tapes occasionally, especially for those older, more obscure movies that you're not going to find on the streaming platform. So yeah, I want to know what you guys think about it. And do you use streaming platforms all the time, or do you use physical media? Another thing where this comes in really cool is games. You know, because games, man, it bugs me, dude. When the new games, if you buy a new game, first of all, it's like $70, $80, $100 for a game now. But then when you buy the game, you don't really own the game. I mean, you have to download all this stuff, so you can't really play through the game entirely with what you just bought, like with the physical thing that you hold, like if you hold a disc or something like that. So when you buy the games, you know, it's like I'll use N64 as an example because we use N64 around our house still to this day and have a blast with it. When you buy those games, you own the game. Sometimes you need a memory card or something like that to hold the memory when you play the game to save progress. But you know, for the most part, when you buy those games, you can play the entire game all the way through, and you can do it as many times as you want, and that's it. Like, you know, so I'm a fan of that. You know, I used to play Call of Duty a lot, and even you play that live and stuff like that. But used to, you buy the disc, and you have everything you need. You don't have to really download anything. You can go live, you know, and play on a server. You can do, you can go, you can just play, you know, obviously play through the game. You can play multiplayer locally, right? There's a lot of things you could do back then. But now, you know, when you get the games, you get all this DLC that you need to get if you really want to play certain maps and things like that. So it's just, you usually have to pay for that stuff. So when you're buying the game, you're not really buying the game. You're buying into you're basically buying into buying more stuff. So I still use CDs and DVDs, yeah. And the sound quality on CDs is great. I have found when you play a CD on a good sound system, it sounds great. It sounds way better than if you're just listening to Spotify or something like that. I miss being able to actually own games instead of having to download them on the store. It's part of the reason I don't play games anymore. Yeah. Don't use CDs. Yeah, you may want to consider using CDs because they sound great. They really do. I have a lot of CDs because I found the CDs in the same places I found the video games and well, mostly the DVDs and the CDs. I find those in the same place. So, all right. So how's the audio sounding, guys? Is it really bad? Just let me know. But yeah, I kind of just wanted to talk about that for a little bit and just see where everybody was at on the physical media side. I really like holding the thing and owning it. Once you buy it, it's like a one-time purchase. There's a big move for you not to own things. A huge move for you not to own anything, really. Right? And you're basically renting everything. So, you know, even now, some of the cars have subscription services tied to them. Just, you know, different little things. But especially with electric cars, when you can get the different packages. So you can buy an electric car and you can, you know, upgrade it or whatever. And you can buy like a different kind of subscription or whatever, but you have to pay for that. So you buy the car, but you have to pay for the performance package. You have to pay for this. So for me, I want to buy something and I want to own it. So it's with cars, with, you know, movies, games, things like that, anything, all that stuff. That's what I want to do. So anyway, I wanted to basically get on here and talk about that. I'm taking a moment before I go DoorDash and I go drive and you know, work for the day. Thought I'd go live. Had some technical difficulties, so yeah, we'll see where we're at here. Oh, it is slightly more quiet than normal. Okay. But is it like breaking up? So this phone, I had used it a little bit like with the windows down driving, and I noticed that with the wind, when the wind hits it, it makes these like crazy electronic noises. So I think the microphone's shot in it. I'm only using it as a emergency backup. But if it works, it works. Not breaking up at all. Well, that's good. How's everybody's Sunday going? I was gonna see if we could get some more people in here. and have this conversation. We can have the conversation after the live. You guys watch if you're watching the replay, I want to hear from you whether you use physical media or streaming services more. Kind of clicked a little. That was me pulling another device out of another mount. But yeah, any sounds that are very forceful type of sounds, this microphone doesn't do very well with. I know that for a fact. So, I was just wondering what it was going to be like when I was talking right here. Let me see here. Something. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not the best with technical stuff. Yeah, that click right there, I'm putting another phone in here so I can see the chat and not have to rely on this phone. Sometimes the phone freezes up when I'm live. But yeah, about to go DoorDash. Gonna make a little money here. The town I'm in here, they have a thrift store and you can get DVD or VHSs for 25 cents. So what's your favorite movie that you would have on a DVD or a VHS if you had a favorite movie that you would get? What would you like? So I own Tombstone. Tombstone's one of the best Westerns ever made, in my opinion. It's not a John Wayne film. It's different. Tombstone's a little bit different. But to me, it's one of the best Westerns that they've ever made. Kind of peak. Kind of went downhill from there. So I own Tombstone. And so they also change things on the streaming services. They change the actual movies and stuff, like Star Wars is going through so many changes or whatever, and if you have the DVDs or the VHS tapes, you literally have a different version of the movie from what is probably available on the streaming service. So this is another plus to me of having the physical media, because you have the actual original version of whatever that movie is, and or whatever edition that it is that you own, because some of them do go through changes over time. So yeah, I have the Star Wars DVDs, and I have the Star Wars cassette tapes somewhere, and the cassette tapes are different than the DVDs, and the DVDs and the cassette tapes are both different from what you get on the streaming service. Sometimes it's just interesting to observe that, and the only way you'd be able to do it probably would be if you actually owned the media, you own the tapes. What was that? It was a Nissan Murano, guys. That sound, that exhaust sound, and super loud, because I'm pretty sure they put VQ 35s in those or something like that. So it sounds like somebody's busted drift car, but it's actually like a family car. All right, I'm gonna attempt to do something while we're live here real quick. I'll hang out and see if some more people show up. I'll hang out for a few minutes. I got a couple minutes. We'll hang out and see if anybody shows up. Oh yeah, so see my chat here. I gotta catch up with this. It's distorting slightly. Huh. Yeah, microphone's not the best. Yeah, sorry guys. I tried. I'll probably I don't know, I'll probably cut this off here. I'm seeing that the service on the other phone is now what it needs to be to go live. I don't know why it got cut off earlier, for whatever reason, but the service, it's two different services. One's Verizon, one's T-Mobile. The T-Mobile is better than the Verizon right now. So that's what I'm seeing happening. And it's weird because it'll go from having no bars or having like 4G, and then right now it's 5G with like 3 or 4 bars, and then this one's 5G though. Hi, Bud Files, how's it going? Welcome to the live. We're talking about physical media, DVDs, VHSs, CDs, video games, and whether we use that or streaming services more, or a combination of both. I use a combination of both, and I like physical media because you own it. Would like to find, I believe, called The Postman. Okay. That's an interesting movie, The Postman. And I don't know if that's on live streaming anywhere or streaming anywhere. A lot of movies aren't on streaming. So it's very interesting because some movies just aren't even available and may never be available again. It's kind of like how history gets erased, right? So when you own the movie, you own a piece of history and you can keep it alive. Same with books, audiobooks, things like that. So when you have audiobooks, you might buy the audiobook on a digital copy. But if something happens with that digital copy, or the host that owns that digital copy or whatever, or distributes it, you may lose it. So you buy it, but you don't really own it. And so that's a shame. So it's good to have, if you can download it onto if it's where you can download it onto a device, and then you can save it that way. Or once again, I guess VHS or CDs. There's a lot of audiobooks. I see a lot of audiobooks on CDs when I'm going out and thrifting, things like that. So that's an option for audiobooks. Some people don't like audiobooks and say that it's not really reading the book. I disagree. I think it is reading the book, but I understand there's a difference. But yeah. So I don't know. I'm just a big fan of it. I think that owning the physical media is better, to be honest. True on audiobooks, unless you burn them to CDs. Yeah, and you should. If you have the option to download the audiobook and get it onto a CD or something like that, then that's a good thing to do. Definitely a Honda. It was an Acura, so Honda engine there. Honestly, these new movies I don't watch but once. So if I was going to have DVDs, it would most likely be old classics. Well, that's what I'm talking about, old classics. That's why I like Tombstone. I watch Tombstone about once a year. I'm trying to think of other movies that I watch like that. There's not many that I could rewatch. Although I've been rewatching a lot of them lately. And like I've been rewatching the old Star Wars stuff with my daughter lately, because she's that age or whatever. So she's enjoying that. The old Star Wars. Now this would be all the George Lucas stuff, and maybe Rogue One. In my opinion, those are the best movies. I'd have to have Lord of the Rings. That's a good one. Lord of the Rings is one that's worth revisiting from time to time. Lord of the Rings is a good one. Yeah. Man, I'm trying to think of other ones like that, because that's a good one. I don't know if it's a classic. It's a classic. Lord of the Rings is a classic. You guys think Lord of the Rings is a classic? Because I do. I think it was an instant classic when it was made. It's just one of those. It's one of those movies. It just has a lot of. Oh man, I don't know. It's timeless. So movies that are set in that kind of world, and stories in general that are set in that kind of world, are kind of timeless, right? Because this isn't even a thing that's in our historical timeline anyway. So it's a fantasy type world, but it has a lot of real world kind of lessons or whatever, if you will. And so there's a lot that applies to us, and it always will apply to us. You know, the way the Hobbit's relationship is, the relationship with all the different characters they meet along the way, all the experiences, and how things change people and how some people don't change, and all of that stuff is so timeless, and it's in a setting that kind of is outside of time too, in a way, right? So yeah, Lord of the Rings would definitely be a DVD to have. So we got Tombstone, we got Lord of the Rings. Somebody wanted The Postman. The Postman's an interesting one, post-apocalyptic, and a long movie. But I think it's a good one. I actually like that one too. It was better than Waterworld. So that's Kevin Costner, and it's he did Waterworld, right? Hey Kristen, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. We're talking about physical media, talking about DVDs, VHSs, CDs, and games that you can really own. Wow, he really does lives. I do lives. I tried to go live just a minute ago, and I messed it up like 3 times. So I got a bunch of stuff. I probably have a couple clips that I got to erase now because they're just me trying to go live and messing up. I'm like a caveman when it comes to technology. So, but hi Dzar, how you doing? Welcome to the live stream. I thought you were live streaming just a minute ago. I saw you. I was gonna stop by, but I'm about to DoorDash in a few minutes. So one of the things I've been doing recently is I'll go and do the live stream a little bit before DoorDash and just kind of trying to make a habit of it, trying to get better at it. But I keep messing up when I go live. I went live vertical. I didn't mean to go live vertical. So, but we're here. So, Dzar, do you have a preference on physical media or downloadable content? Do you use downloadable content or physical media more often? I was tired from my walk and all the cans I found. Yeah, so you got, I know you were scavenging cans. You look like you had about a bag. You wait until you get them stacked up before you go and turn them in. I don't even know if I can do that here in my state. I don't know if we actually have, I'm sure you get a few pennies back for the cans, right? I gotta look it up. So I'm in North Carolina. I gotta look that up and see. Do any of you guys know? Can I get money for collecting cans? Because I see them around all the time. I can see probably like 4 or 5 cans right now just looking around here in this parking lot. Maybe I should start doing that. It'd be fun. I mean, you're like cleaning up your area, and you know, you get a few pennies back, so that's nice. I'll have to look that up, man. I might look it up right now. It's gonna be a little click here. Let's see. NC cans. What would you call that? You don't do any media. Well, you do YouTube. You're watching YouTube right now, so that's media. So you don't watch movies or anything? Cans. For. Let's see what we get. Doing media. That's funny. Scrap metal recycling centers. There isn't a statewide bottle deposit program. You can sell your cans as scrap metal to facilities that buy aluminum. So I can scrap the cans as aluminum. But we don't get like 5 cents per cans or whatever. You like digital movies, Kristen? So the perks of digital is that you don't have to store all the DVDs and stuff. They do take up a lot of space. I was saying earlier, I have a place where I can get VHS tapes for like 10 cents each. It's like 10 for $1. So I actually have a good amount of VHS tapes. Now I sell them too, so I sell most of them. And occasionally I'll keep a couple if they're movies that I like and that I just don't have, because for 10 cents, you know, I can watch the movie. And most of the time my family's probably not going to watch those movies with me. So that'll be just me like having the movie on the background, something I knew already about from back in the day, maybe something in the 80s or 90s. And so for 10 cents, you know, if it's not available on a streaming service, that's what I like that for. I got to catch up. I guess kids' movies are important. I need physical copies of that. Okay. My wife says I waste my time, but but I say that's how I get paid for walking. It's 60 cents per pound. Okay. Hey, you know what? It's good to go for a walk. It's good to get paid a little bit, and it's good to clean up the environment. So you're doing all those things. I think that's a win. That's a huge win. Kids movies, yeah. Okay, so this is another reason why I like physical media. Because when the power goes out here where I'm at a lot, we have a generator, so we can get the TV going, we can get the DVD player going, or the VHS tape player going, and even that old N64 going. And if you have the physical copies of all the stuff that you want to watch, like just a few things on hand, it's great for emergencies, because when the power goes out, the kids, I mean, usually we'll just hang out, but if it's for a prolonged period of time, maybe like a day or more, you can, put a movie on or something. And that's also a perk of having the physical media, because you're not live streaming out here. The power goes out, the internet's out, everything's out, you're not getting anything. So that's one of the perks of having the physical media for me. Always, okay, yeah. When I normally take the scrap in, I give her the money. Well, that's a win right there. That's how you do it. So she's less likely to complain about it. And like I said, you're staying in shape, dude. Going for a walk, it's good for the mind, it's good for the body. So yeah, I should start picking up cans. And I could be cool like these are live streams. Yeah, when the power goes out, it's too quiet, no AC, little sounds. Trying to get the little sounds we take for granted. Oh yeah, no little sounds we take for granted, having physical media stuff. Yeah, so the sound of a fan, the sound of air conditioning, the sound of all of those things goes out completely, right? When the power goes out, it's weird. It must have been like that for a very long time, for people in their lives. You didn't have all this extra sound, all this extra stuff going on. Don't like it when it's too quiet. Yeah, some people sleep with the fan, and they have to have stuff like that to keep them asleep, or to go to sleep too. And if it's real quiet, I guess they can't sleep. Pick up paint cans when I'm dashing on my downtime in between dashes. Is it that slow in your market? It's slow in the market I'm in right now, the one I'm about to drive in. It's slow like that. But if I go to Raleigh, which is, a ways away from here, but if I go there a lot to drive, because it is not slow like that, it's constant. So, you need the white noise. Yeah, a lot of people need white noise. I think they get used to it. I guess if you live in the city, you have like a constant noise. But if you live in the country, it gets kind of quiet. You might hear the crickets or something. You might hear dogs barking in the distance. It does get quiet. Yeah, like I said, I see some cans I probably should go pick up right now, man. Start scrapping, dude. Start making a couple extra pennies here and there while I'm working. I really even pick them up in the parking lot. Yeah, okay. So the other question is, there's that many cans sitting around where you're at. It's crazy that people just throw their cans out. I've never even thought of doing that, dude. To my detriment of my car sometimes, because I'll have like a big bag of cans and whatever. If I eat food out or whatever, the food bags and the drinks. So sometimes I have a lot of trash in my car, and every now and then I have to kind of unload that. But it's because I don't want to throw my stuff out. Yeah, people are pigs. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of disrespectful, right? To throw your stuff out on the ground like that. Trash. Yeah, the can thing is cool. Either me or it has to be very quiet. Yeah, it has to be white noise. Yeah, I mean, I could go either way on the white noise thing. If it's real quiet, I think I could still sleep in the quiet. But there's white noise going on all the time, because my wife loves white noise to go to sleep, so I get the white noise to go to sleep. But what I don't like about it is that that's all I hear in the background in my dreams. So when I'm having dreams, I got this like sound machine going on in the background, and it could take any form. Oh, you too, Dzar. Yeah. You know, we used to go live on that other show or whatever. We did that a couple times, right? Me and Dzar have been on we've been on a couple live stream panels together back in the day. Yeah. That was interesting, right? Talking about crypto and a lot of other stuff. Which is, by the way, in a bull market right now, it seems. So I haven't looked at where Bitcoin is today, but probably somewhere between 117 and 120 something, right? I don't know. That's what it has been. Does anybody know where Bitcoin is right now? Like what the price of Bitcoin is at the moment? I have more alts than I have Bitcoin, probably. You never got your crypto. Man. Should have loaded up, dude. So remember I talked to Dzar. I was like, I never tell anybody what to do, of course, you know. And I was like 70. If Bitcoin goes down near 75,000 again, I'm loading up, because it did. It dipped down to about 76 something, right? And I was like, yeah, I'm buying some of this and that right now because everything was crashing. It was after that time when we were on that live stream, and people were so excited about XRP, and you know, everything kind of took a big dip because crypto does that, because people get really excited, and you know, so the big money has already been purchasing for a long time and take their profits, because, you know, dude, if you're up, you bought something at 50 cents and it's now at like $3, it's you know, it's okay to take profits, even if you think it's going to go $5. In my opinion, it's like, dude, at least take your initial investment out and then probably take some actual profits, right? But that's also about the same time that everybody FOMOs into the market and starts buying everything at the top. So I think people become ex liquidity, right? For people who have been in the market for a long time. I'm not a Bitcoin person or anything. It's just like I've seen this cycle play out like 3 or 4 times now, and it's the same thing every time. It crashes. There's a bunch of bad news. There's a bunch of bad, all this other stuff that goes on with it or whatever, legal stuff. And then I usually try to buy it then, because it's cheap enough for me to actually afford to buy. And then, yeah, it starts to go up, whatever. I think the Fed it paused an interest rate cut or something. Like they paused. It was back then. It was like last year, right? So when they paused, did they pause or did they actually cut? I think they just paused. So they stopped increasing, but they might have done a cut. I can't remember. It was like around the election time. Anyway, whatever reason, you know, everything went up a bit, and everybody was like FOMOing in and everything. But, you know, people are going to take those profits. People have been in the market for a long time, you know. They're going to take those profits. Let's see where chat's at. Yeah. Done really good with my DoorDash stock. You know, I don't have any DoorDash stock, even though I DoorDash. I probably should have looked into that earlier. I don't have any Uber stock. I remember when Uber was, I don't remember the numbers, but I think it did really well from where it was when I actually used to Uber drive. Before I DoorDashed a lot, I Ubered. This was 2016, 17, 18, I guess, something like that. It was a little more profitable. It was profitable back then. I don't know how it is now, but yeah, I thought about buying stock then. Maybe I should have. But I'm not a stocks genius, you know. I'm just like, honestly, guys, like, sometimes I feel like it's just better by like a S&P. This is me personally, not advice, and I know this isn't what this live stream was about, but it's like sometimes I just think it's better just to buy like S&P ETF, you know, maybe some SCHD or something, and then combine that with something else, maybe some NASDAQ stuff, like an ETF, you know, like a broad index, and then just kind of let those things ride, right? I mean, that's easier. So it's easier instead of like buying and trading like individual stocks and stuff like that. I'm a terrible trader. Like, I'm not good at trading, dude. I would probably lose my money. Maybe I would. I don't know. I mean, I guess I wouldn't now. If I started selling stocks for profits now, but then I would. Then you got to do something for money. And so if the market's up, it's like, it's such a crazy thing. It's like, what do I do when the market's up? If I sell for a profit, and then but everything's up, what do you buy? You know what I mean? It's kind of tough. I bought it when I started DoorDashing a year and a half ago. Yeah, I like to buy ticks that I like, pay dividend, hold long term. Yeah, I'm starting to like that more and more myself. And we're in different places. We've talked about that, but more and more myself, it's like, yeah, I know what you meant. I read it though, the way you said it. I don't know. I like realty income. I like SCHD. And I've been kind of like adding to stacking those for a while, just a little bit at a time, just over and over and over and over again. It's like really boring. And then like just the S&P index fund, like VOO, stuff like that. And then I have a bunch of other stuff that I play with. I have stuff that I play with because I can't stop myself. So I figured, you know what, I'll do this. I'll let myself have kind of like part of my portfolio is a little bit riskier, right? Because I'm going to do it anyway. It's my personality. I'm going to get in there and want to mess around and like maybe buy and sell stuff. So I give myself that. I allow myself a little bit of that. But my main strategy is just to like stack those like really boring assets, and some of them pay dividends and some of them are growth. But yeah, just boring stuff, man. Boring stuff. And then stuff like crypto, it's like if it pays off, great. That's a wonderful thing. If not, some of it you want to hold, maybe Bitcoin, like hold for a while. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. But crypto is up like substantially since I was buying. I haven't bought crypto in a long time. I guess I could DCA that. People say DCA into that, but I feel like if I do, I don't know. I don't know. When it gets high like this, when it gets to all-time highs, I get nervous buying anything at all-time highs, man. Except for those like SCHD and stuff like that. I'll just stack that. We got off the subject. We were talking about physical media and movies. But I guess kind of like physical media, you know, it's better to own something. So if you buy stocks, like you kind of own a little something, right? And if you buy candy and you eat that, then it's gone. But if you buy an asset that pays dividends, it's going to just continue to pay dividends forever, I guess, as long as it's a solid aristocrat dividend paying stock. Yeah. Yeah, if Kristen, I don't know if you're still here, if you check it, it's up from wherever, if it was back in the day, if it was the stuff we were messing around with back in the day, it's way up from there. Everything is. Hi, Fever Dream. How you doing? Welcome to the house. We're on the live stream again. It's the worst live stream ever, the most unprofessional live stream in the world. Yeah, I tried to go live twice and messed it up, and then I got this going, so we're here. Thank you for being here. Just hanging out today, before door dashing, as always, as it's been for the last few times. I may start doing this on a regular basis, and I want to start out. I have a subject that I wanted to talk about, but we can go anywhere from there. I'm okay with that. Hey, you're one. Okay, hold on a second. I gotta read that. Oh, go down. You're one short. You were talking about the average car price. I'm thinking about that slate truck. Yeah. So that short, these are not, self-promoting, but it's a part of a longer video if you're interested in checking out that longer video. And I talk about the ins and outs of that a little bit more in depth. But the car price, the average car price is between 48 and 51,000, putting that slate truck at about half the average car price, right? So that's pretty good if you're going to buy a new vehicle. Obviously, you're kind of an experiment, like you're kind of like a guinea pig when you buy it. But I think if you're going to go with an electric car, for one, which I'm not the biggest fan of, I'm not, the biggest electric car fan. But if you're going to do that, you know, the Slate truck looks okay. If you can keep it under like 30,000. My fear on the Slate truck, it's not a fear, but my concern with that whole thing would be that once you get into like optioning it out, that they get you way up into the 30s. And now it's kind of not that affordable vehicle. That it's still affordable. I get still a lower price, but like what else could you get for mid 30s? You know what I mean? But I'd love to. I can't wait. I hope you get it and make some videos about it. And I want to see what you find out and how it goes. I really kind of hope they do well, because then the competition to that would be an even cheaper vehicle that does the same thing. And that's what we really want. That's what I would really like to see, is for an arms race to affordability, rather than an arms race to, we have all these options and this, you know, big screen in the dash and all this stuff. And but it costs $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 to get. That's just crazy. And then you got this huge payment, right? There's some weird sounds going on around me, but you know what I mean? So that's kind of where I'm at with that, with whole electric truck, electric vehicle, new cars, all that stuff. Oh, let's keep touching the screen. Is there a better way to keep the chat going? Whatever, I'm just gonna look at it down here. Still love my Ford Focus EV 2012. I'm not doing all the options if I get it. Yeah, so probably it's a good idea to roll this window up, because that dude's playing some music and I'm not trying to get. It's probably a good idea to go without the options at first, and then go, you know, and see what, because that vehicle's designed where you can add later. So if you just get the vehicle and you don't like it, you don't have to actually buy all those options. You can probably sell it on to the next person who might like it, and then they can option it out if they want, and then you didn't lose all that money buying all that stuff new. It's probably a good strategy. It's the strategy I would take with that vehicle, because, and I like the modular aspect. The whole idea is pretty cool. 2012 Ford Focus EV though, so it's still going. Did you buy that new and it's still going? Because that's a long time. It's pretty good, and it's on the same battery. That's actually pretty good. You know, I think when people think EVs, they think Tesla, and there's actually a lot of other options out there, but I don't know much about them. I don't know much about any of them. In fact, what I was thinking, guys, what do you guys think? Well, I have some people here. What if I like rented an electric car and like did it for a week or something? Just like door dashed around on it and made videos and stuff. Let you guys know what I think about it, because I've done a few videos on electric cars just based on the technical, you know, understanding of like whatever it is, and you know, the batteries, the dangers of the batteries, the cost, the minerals that go into the batteries, all stuff you can kind of look up, and it's like technical information that you can look up, and it's not like real world. I've never lived with an electric car for a week, 2 weeks, whatever. I was thinking about maybe renting one and door dashing with it to pay for it, I guess, and then make the videos. Because if I could rent one, it was like maybe $60 a day or something. I could easily pay for it with DoorDash and still make my money, and then we could make videos and have fun with the EV, and I could kind of like really just get an idea what it's like to live with the EV, the charging, because that's different than the gas. Maybe I'll go like a distance, maybe go on like a little short road trip or something. I don't know. What do you guys think of that? Let me know what you think of that. Let's see. Yeah, that's something I was thinking about doing. I was actually thinking about renting different vehicles anyway, but it'd be good to start with an EV because that's the one thing I've never had. And I might end up finding that I make more money. I don't know how much charging costs. I wouldn't be able to charge it at the house because I don't have a charger in the house, you know. So I'd have to go to a charging station, and I guess you have to pay for that. I don't really know, man. But it could be fun. It's a fun idea, I think. So if you guys like that, maybe I'll put a poll out. I'll put a poll out on the channel, the community post, and we'll see if get some interest in that. I know I wouldn't be the first person to do that, but it would be a new thing to me. It's cheaper to charge at the house. Yeah, I know. Yeah, and that's going to be a skewed result, right? Because obviously, if I bought an electric car and owned it, I'd be charging it at the house. So that would be cheaper. Yeah, but if you're out and about, so if you're on a road trip, you can't charge at the house. So if I take it on a road trip, that'll be realistic. You know what I mean? But I guess I'd have to take the same road trip in a car and see how they compare. Could do that. Add a whole nother dimension to the driving daily universe, the driving daily verse. Because since the channel's in crisis, guys, I don't know what I'm doing. You know, I make all kinds of different videos, and I should probably stay. Like, I could have stuck to anyone. I say this a lot. Like, if you're trying to grow your channel, don't do it the way I'm doing it, because I've done so many different kinds of videos, and I'm so all over the place because I want to do so much stuff that yeah, the algorithm's confused. It's like, what is this channel, dude? Is this a car channel, or is this just a guy goes live and talks channel, or is this a exploration urbex channel? What is it, right? And the algorithm doesn't know. So occasionally I make a banger and it gets out there, and that's what keeps the channel afloat, I guess. And you guys, thank goodness for you guys being here. I appreciate you. Y'all are awesome. But yeah, I'll probably be doing more lives like this. If you guys are okay with hanging out, I'll get better at it as time goes on from doing it more, and it won't be so boring. Once you make the move, you will not go back. I missed that. To the hydrocarbon lifestyle. I don't know about that, Dizar. You know what? I don't know about that. I know they're faster. I know they can be faster. So my buddy had he was dating this girl, right? And she had the dual motor Tesla. I don't know which one it is, but it's not the Plaid, but it's not the base model or anything either. You know, it's a dual motor. I think it's called something, whatever. It was kind of a tall vehicle. It might have had gold wings. I'm not sure, but it was, anyway, it had ludicrous mode installed or downloaded or whatever. And this thing was fast. He came by and picked me up one day. He was like, dude, you gotta check this out. Cause he's a gearhead, you know? And he's always had regular cars, and he's like, comes by the house and he's like, dude, you gotta go for a ride, man, in this thing. And we're gonna go 0 to 60 like faster than you've ever been. And he did, you know, I mean, he gunned it. And not only did it didn't spin, it didn't lose traction or whatever, it just went. It's like a spaceship. So I know all electric cars are not like that, but you know, Tesla's like that if it's programmed that way, and it can be. So the capabilities with electric car, I understand that. You know what I mean? There's no gas car that goes that fast unless it's a hypercar. Those cars are highly expensive, you know, and unobtainium, really. So yeah, I get that it's a different world. You know what I mean? I do like engines. I like old cars and engines and stuff. And you can fix them and all this, but do you have to really fix the electric car? So if I'm remembering correctly, he said that girl did have to have that car in the shop quite frequently. And so I don't know what all it needed or whatever, but obviously you do have to maintain these cars. Apparently the Tesla, it's heavier, so the tires go, you know, a lot quicker. You're going to go through tires quite quickly, and the tires aren't cheap. Went to the Tesla store, sat in a Model 3 and fell in love when I sat in the car. The song that turned on was blinded me with science. I was sold. Do you have a Tesla though? You said you had a Ford Focus. Look, I get it, man. Technologically, it's kind of cool. You know, it's like something out of Star Trek compared to what we've had for the last, 60 years in cars or whatever. I get it. I just don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if the infrastructure is there for everybody to go to them. I don't know if they're going to be good in every situation. Um, yeah, another thing that this guy told me is that they went and took this thing to the mountains, and they were nervous because they couldn't find places to charge it. So there's that. But I'm sure over time the infrastructure will grow, and you'll have more and more places. Can they fully fix EVs? Yeah, that's a good question. Well, Dzar says he hasn't had to fix his at all. Huh. Yeah, I mean, look, it's at a level, it's just a simple motor, like it's a motor, batteries, and then electronic controls. So if everything's made with good components, theoretically, there's not a lot to break. You have the standard suspension components, things like that. You have the moving pieces that can break. So, you know, but that's all just technically that should all be fairly easy, just like any car to fix. You have tires. If they're heavier because the batteries, then you have more, you know, weight on the tires, and that's gonna cost more because you're gonna have to replace the tires more often. So there's that. Yeah, I mean everything's a trade-off. But engines have problems too. Like, dude, I've got 2 cars at the house that are sitting there, and I'm working on them. Right, like the Civic is running on 3 cylinders right now, and I have to figure out why. And I haven't had a lot of time to get into that. My hypothesis is that it's going to have low compression on one of those cylinders because the engine already was kind of in a worn out state anyway. We knew this. And so I was kind of, you know, mentally prepared to, I'm probably going to have to put another engine in it. And I can rebuild that one. You know, everything's there. I don't think anything's physically, mechanically damaged beyond like repairing. Like I could put new valves, I could put new valve seals, and do a valve job, and put new rings, and probably just get a new set of rings and pistons, hone the block, and put it all back together, put new bearings and stuff in there. I can refresh that engine, so I can use what's there. But yeah, something's gonna have to be done with the Civic, and then the Pontiac. I'm doing some searching on some electrical stuff, some electrical gremlins. So I have like I might make a video on this. I don't know. I have the dash apart, and I'm gonna probably replace the ignition wiring for the ignition switch. There's a set of wires, probably 6, 7, 8 wires. It's a bundle, and it goes from the the ignition switch into the main wiring harness or whatever, and controls everything. So if there's issues in that, which is pretty common in this car, it can cause electrical gremlins. I have one. I'm going to try it out. I'm poking around with that. The car still runs great though. That one's a good one. I got to catch up with the chat for a minute. Remember, the hybrids cars cost less to replace and repair. Yeah, but I mean, you also have an engine, and then you have the battery stuff. But the battery is not as extensive as it is in a electric car, so it's a cheaper battery. So to replace that battery would be, I think, significantly less expensive than it would be in an electric car. Hi, James Money. How you doing? Welcome to the house. It's a live stream where we're talking about physical media. Now we're talking about electric cars and all kinds of stuff. So, you know, if you just want to throw something in there in the chat, we'll probably just riff. I have 70,000 miles. I'll need to get a 3rd set pretty soon. 2 of the 12. I don't understand exactly what you're saying. I'm guessing you're saying 3rd set of tires pretty soon, and I don't know what you meant about the batteries. Is it the original battery? That's something I'm interested in, because the battery probably wouldn't be cheap in that. So with the hybrids, yes, you got a cheaper battery. You have an engine, which is probably, I mean, it's the same stuff we've always had, you know, as far as technology. So it's the same to fix as a regular car. But, you know, you're going to get really good gas mileage. You know, some of the hybrids getting 50, 60 miles to the gallon. You have a Volt, Chevy Volt. Yeah. So you have both. So you have a Volt and and you're just like the economy guy. So why don't you have an EV, dude? You should have an EV channel, or like a channel like my EV life or something like that. I don't know. Small battery. Oh, 12 volt. Okay. You've had to put to the 12 volt. Well, so yeah, for 2012, I got you. I understand now. It's not a Chevy Volt. So for 2012, having to put 2 batteries in is probably normal for a normal car too. You know what I mean? For the 12 volt batteries. Yeah, you don't have a Chevy. I got you. You don't have a Chevy Volt. I missed because I didn't. It was weird. It was weird the way the text was. But yeah, the 12 volt batteries, it definitely is normal to have 2 12 volt batteries in that time span. I would think, especially if you got one of them at Walmart, dude. Those are the worst batteries. If you have to get a battery at Walmart because it's like $70 or something like that, you know, definitely go for it. I guess it'll get you through. But if you ever sit that car for any period of time, you're gonna have to recharge. Hopefully, everything that battery because they're not the best, dude. The ever start, never start. Yeah, no, Chevy Volt. But yeah, I don't know. I think we're a long ways away off from having electric cars everywhere, though. But I am interested in the Slate truck. I think you should get one, and I think you should make videos about it, and you should show us what it's all about. You could be one of the first, right? Other than the car influencer people that have the access to get the first ones. But just real world testing and all that, definitely I'd be interested in that. Most people don't need to haul as much as a big truck, and so they don't need the big truck. So most people don't really, like, they're paying for more than they need. And trucks right now are about $100,000 for a decent truck, brand new, which is wild. And you don't really even need all that. And if the bed in that truck is big enough to haul, the basics, what else do you want? I'd rather personally see it in a diesel, a little turbo diesel or something, but that's just me, with a 5-speed transmission. Okay, Teal Horse, take care. Thank you for being here. Appreciate that. But yeah, that's what I would like to have. Something in a turbo diesel, 5-speed transmission, small like that. That Slate truck would be spot on. I think that's what we need. I believe there's a Hilux that is not available here that you can buy elsewhere in the world, which fits that description. It may be a gas engine though, but where it's at, it costs the equivalent of like $10,000 to $15,000. The difference is that they know the American market, and they know people are going to pay top dollar for these cars, so they're gonna always push the price up. They could bring a $10,000 car over here to America, and it's gonna be $20,000-$30,000. You know what I mean? They'll add a couple options, they'll add some safety features, and they'll jack the price up because they know people will pay it. And I'm not against people being able to afford. Obviously, it's great if people can afford a new car, but it's like, dude, if we stop buying new cars at certain prices, they would bring the price down pretty quick. They would, that's why I think we probably about to see an arms race for lower price cars. I think they'll sell like hotcakes. A lot of people don't want to do like me and buy older cars and then have to fix them and stuff. It's a pain. It is a pain. Like, it's worth it, but it's kind of can be a pain in the butt. Right now, like I said, I have 2 cars that 3 if you count one of my Jeeps that I have to work on too. You know what I mean? And they're just sitting there, and I'm working on them, right? They're good. I mean, I'm gonna get them good to go, and it's gonna still be cheaper than buying a new car, and way cheaper than any kind of car payment. But it's a pain, and not a lot of people want to do that. I bought one of the solar chargers that go on top of your car, so when I'm at work 8 hours, I can charge in the parking lot for free. How much do you get out of that? How many like watt hours or watts per hour or whatever does that provide? But I guess if you can park out where you're in the sun all day, you're getting full sunlight. I only frame of reference I have for that is I have the little solar generator boxes, and I have a thing that's like supposedly a 60 watt charging. It's a folding thing that has solar panels on it, and that can charge. I can get up to like 30, 40, I guess, watts per hour or whatever charge out of that, which is pretty good for that little box. But for a big car, what does that really do? You know what I mean? But I'm sure what you're talking about is a lot bigger, so you probably have more coverage. You probably get more charging out of it. It was definitely interesting. I've always thought about that. So there is a company called Aptera, and they build a super lightweight skeleton kind of vehicle. It's like a monocoque, simple, lightweight design, and it's like for one person though. I think they might have a two-person model, but not a lot of room like in a car like this. But it's super lightweight, and it's very efficient. It's an electric vehicle, and they have solar panels, at least on their demo models and stuff. They have like solar panels built in. And that's so lightweight though that it's probably a third of the weight of your Ford Focus, and so it doesn't need as much battery. So the batteries are smaller, it's a smaller battery array they build for it, and they have the weight all worked out or whatever. So it has like a pretty long range. Obviously, it's going to charge faster because it's not as much battery, but the range is the same or better. And then it's so lightweight and aerodynamic, they made it really efficient. Okay, you just ordered it, so you haven't done it. Go, son. Okay. Yeah, I'd love to hear about what that's all about. You should do videos on your channel about that. You should be like, yeah, I got this thing, and we're gonna just like go through a few days of it, using it, and then like review it. That'd be really cool. I would totally watch it because I'm interested in that stuff. A lot of people are interested in that, and if somebody was on the fence about buying it, you could help them figure out what to think about it. You know what I mean? Be pretty cool. So yeah, we started the conversation out about physical media, which, guys, I'm not 100% physical media, but I do like it. I am a fan of owning what you buy, right? Same with these electric cars. If I buy the electric car, you will do a video. That's awesome. Let me know. Send me a something or whatever, and let me know that you did when you do it, so that I'll go watch it or whatever. But when you buy the electric car, I don't want to have to add on stuff from the factory and then have to get updates like a cell phone. I mean, unless the updates are free, you know what I mean? But I don't want to have to pay for extra stuff when I've already bought the thing, right? I want to own it. I want to be able to do what I want with it. And Slate seems to be about that way. At least they're saying they are. Do whatever I want. For a while, Tesla had the Cybertruck, and they were saying that you couldn't sell the truck or something. You know what I mean? They were trying to tell people you couldn't sell the truck. I don't know the legalities of that, but that's BS, right? If I buy the vehicle, if I own it, I want to be able to sell it. It's the same with the physical media, right? If I buy a VHS tape, I own it. I can watch it as many times as I want, and if I want to get rid of it, I can sell it. And I do that quite frequently. Like sometimes I'll get them if they're used. I will watch it if it's something I want to watch. Usually I watch it. I'll put it in the background when I'm working on the eBay stuff. I might put it on the screen and late at night or something. And I can watch the movie, and then I can sell the thing. Like I could sell it like right after that, and that's possible because when you buy physical media, you own it. So, I haven't had anything on the Ford. Yeah, no, I mean that's good. Look, I'm not against electric cars, man. It's just I don't want to have to buy it and then like BMW got in. People were kind of getting on them because they had a car that they sold, and if you wanted the heated seats option turned on, you had to pay for that. You had to pay extra for that, but it was existing hardware in the car. It's like, dude, I would try to figure out how a way to hack that because I'm not trying to pay for that. That's crazy. Somebody get a hack for that and just like activate this thing without the because I paid for the car, like I own it. But the thing is, most people don't own those cars. Most people are making payments on those cars, and when you're making payments on the car, you don't really own it. So you don't make a payment, they're going to come take it back. So you don't really actually own those I guess most people don't own their new car. You know what I mean? Like, you hardly even own your own car, dude. You gotta pay taxes on that. You know, sometimes I'm like, man, I need to get, and I am going to get rid of some of my older cars because I got to pay taxes every year on them, and a couple of them just sit in the garage. Like, I have a spot where I work on cars, and I have a couple cars over there. I don't do anything with them, and I would, but I don't really have time to get over there and do anything with them. So I'll probably have to sell them. You know, I got one that's pretty cool. We should probably do a video. We should probably like do a series on the channel though. I may, if I could set aside a time each week to work on it. It's like a 1980 Honda Accord, and it's really cool. It's got the round headlights. 1980. It's actually a Japanese import car. It's got the round headlights. It's got a hood that opens up backwards. You know, so this is the car. The hood opens up like that, and it's pretty cool. And we could do a video of that. Like, we could do a lot of videos on that and have fun with it. And not a lot of people are doing those, but it's a pretty cool car. It's got a crazy carburetor on it from the 80s that's not the best. I gotta have to replace that with something a lot simpler because I am not a carburetor tuner by any means, like, you know what I mean? So, but Weber makes some simple carbs I could probably throw on there, and it would probably be a pretty economical car actually. Yeah, it runs. It actually runs. It's sitting in the shop, but it runs. Like, I drove it there, I parked it, and I moved it around a couple times and stuff. It's pretty cool though. We should do a video on that. I should show you guys some of the other cars. I started this channel out as kind of a car channel anyway, and I got away from it because I was just doing so much other stuff, and so I haven't been able to go down to the drift events lately. I also haven't filmed that. I haven't been to as many car shows. I've been working every day. I've been working on a lot of stuff. So, you know, we'll get back to that probably, and maybe in a big way. Maybe in a big way. I have everything I need for it. Like, I have the shop, and I have the cars, and I just need to get some parts and stuff, and the time. So maybe we'll make some time. I could probably stay up late some nights, like I used to. I used to stay up, you know, till 3, 4 in the morning working on cars, and it was a lifestyle, you know. But now I'm just out here door dashing. You know, DoorDash, I make a little extra money. I stack some SEHD, I stack some VU, I stack some, you know, some realty income and stuff like that. And that's what I do instead of working on the cars anymore. So I would like to do both, maybe. Need to do some joint shows. What will we do joint shows about? If you do the electric car thing, or we could just talk. We could do a live stream. I could definitely do. I need to do StreamYard. I need to get that. I need to get a new laptop though, if I want to get into all that. Probably. I had a Chromebook, and I probably could have used it on that, and it got busted. It was my take everywhere with me Chromebook, and it's just done, man. It still works, but barely. But it was like a $60 unit that I bought used. But yeah, we could do the StreamYard panel, and we could talk about anything. I would talk about the finance stuff. It's just, dude, I'm not an expert, man. I'm just learning like everybody else. Like, I'm just trying to figure it all out. But I am interested, and it's fun, you know. And I want to hear. Really, I'm more interested in hearing what other people say about it, because I'm trying to learn. You know what I mean? But from what I have learned, it seems like the best way is the boring way, right? Is to make your money and to just stack these kind of boring but like reliable assets over and over and over and over and over and over again until you're at the point like and forever pretty much. I have started to see where the dividends are like they get bigger. You know what I mean? You start seeing like more and more dividends come in, and you're like, I see the merit of this, right? Especially large amounts over time. Boring is fun. Yeah, after a while. I mean, at first it's like when you start like a external brokerage account or something, and you start it out. The way I started these was I didn't know what the heck I was doing, and you know I didn't have people around me who were interested in that stuff, and so I was just like investing like $5 at a time, literally, like, you know, I didn't know what I was doing. And I just put it in though, and But eventually I started doing more and started doing more. I'm not doing that much, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's way more than it used to be. And it's stacked to the point where it's changed my life, you know what I mean? A little bit. Like if I look at, like I have this huge cushion that like I have now that I didn't have before. And it's all just because I took whatever I didn't like have to spend or whatever had extra, and I would just throw it into like those assets like we're talking about. Well, I did some riskier stuff. So I like bought crypto first. So I was in crypto before I even bought a stock ever. So I did it the wrong way. But the cool thing about it is seeing the volatility in crypto and all the ups and downs. It kind of made stocks easy, right? So people freak out in the stock market when they see like a 3 or 4% drop. They freak out. And I look at my portfolio and it looks like, it's like, dude, if this was crypto, this is another day. So I kind of got used to that. And I was like, and so I just buy the dips. Because I'm like, man, these assets have been here for, some of them for like 50 years or whatever. They have a good track record. They're not going anywhere. They're probably not going anywhere, right? I don't know. You don't know the future, but unless the world ends tomorrow, and if the world ends tomorrow, you're not gonna be worried about your stock portfolio. So it's like you might as well just buy the boring big assets, I guess. Not financial advice, and that's seemed to work, right? It seems to have worked to some degree, right? So yeah, I guess boring is fun. After a few years, it is like, right? Because then you can look back and say this is working. But it's hard to convince, you know, at first it's hard to convince yourself that you're doing anything because you're just stacking, you know. But that's why I buy some of the dividend stocks, because psychologically for me, at my age, I probably should be buying growth. But at my age, like, I also need that psychological impact of having the income, right, coming in. And when I see that, it just encourages me to stack more. I'm like, dude, if I buy a piece of silver, it's cool and it looks pretty. It doesn't necessarily lose value, but it doesn't give me these dividends every month. Yeah. Well, I'm getting to that point too, Dzar, a little bit. Not probably on your level, but you gotta keep in mind, man, I'm DoorDash and selling stuff on eBay for money, right? I'm not Mr. Moneybags, but it seems to me that if you take like a good percentage of what you make and you put it into those boring assets, and it stacks, it does stack over time, and it's like the relentless thing. It's kind of like water, right? When water just, you know, water carves out pieces of earth and stuff like that. And at some point in times in our history, it's probably done it all at once. But at other points in times, it's done it little bit by little bit. And it's just because it just doesn't stop. It just keeps going and going and going. And so, yeah, eventually, that's what I'm learning. Yeah. Well, seeing the dividends come in, the income is encouraging to me. So that's just where I'm at, you know. And like I said, I could have done growth. I mean, the percentages on growth, if I looked at it, I was like, man, if I just bought the top like growth assets or whatever, I don't know if it would be better, if I'd be better off, maybe, like bigger picture numbers things, but I still hold the dividend assets and they still pay, and they're relentless too. So if you're relentless, like they are as well, and then they work every month, it's just like clockwork, or every 4 months, it's like clockwork, and it just doesn't stop. Now, one thing that I've seen that people are getting into now is like these yield max things, and I have some of that in my play fund, but the more I look at it, the NAV erosion on those is like so ridiculous. Like that, I don't know if you're actually like winning by doing that. I think it's better just to buy a CHD and stuff like that. You know, but I still play with it. Like I have to make myself have these little places, like playgrounds, where I can play with this kind of stupid assets to get it out of my system. And it allows me to build over the boring stuff without, you know, touching that or messing with that. I build the boring stuff, but I do have the stupid playground stuff, the yield max stuff, and the crypto falls in that category. Never thought you'd be where you are, but it's amazing after time. Yeah, I mean, dude, it adds up, man. And I tell people, like, so I know a lot of people in my life that are in a position. Hey, NY gal, how you doing? Thank you for stopping by. That are in positions where, you know, they don't have any 401k, no investments. And I don't have 401k, actually, because I've never worked a regular job. So I have to build. So I have a few different brokerage accounts. I have to build them. I have to, because I don't really have a choice. Got to build my future income, or I'll be kind of screwed, right? So I caught on to this late, but at least I caught on to it a little bit. So I've got friends that are just not into it at all, like at all, and they don't have jobs. They have 401ks. They don't have anything coming out and going into building anything for the future. And it's like, well, dang. So I tell them, like, dude, look, I mean, if you start with $5, you know, a week or whatever, even like whatever you think that you don't have to spend, it can help a lot. And it's not that it does anything, but it does something psychologically. Before you know it, you'll be doing $200 a week, you know, and that will actually do something, right? So it gets the ball rolling. And because you'll be addicted to it, you'll be like, dang, I didn't miss the 5, I'll do 10. I didn't miss the 10, I'll do 25. I didn't miss the 25, I'll try 50. You're like, shit, I'll just try to make some more money, and maybe I can do 100, and then maybe I'll hustle some more, and I can do 150 or 200, whatever, a week or whatever. And now you're doing like, that's 12, you know, it's $12,000 a year. Is it 12,000? Not really. That's like $10,000 a year, something like that. Whatever. You get the idea, though. And then it's like, dude, for these people, for some of the people that I know in my life, that is life changing. For me, it was life changing. And so when you get to that point, and then now you have this buffer underneath of you like you've never had before. Because I've always lived risky, man. I've lived on the edge. So this makes a huge difference in my life. How's everybody doing today? Y'all enjoying the Sunday? I'm just going on a rant about like financial stuff. I know it's not what we started talking about. Physical media. Back to physical media. So one of my favorite games, hot out here. So one of my favorite games is game systems is still the N64 to this day, guys. I play that with my daughter, and we play all the time, and we play for free. And you can have 4 controllers, and you can all play. And I like that. And it's physical media. And once you buy the game, you own it forever. GoldenEye, Mario Kart. I'm playing Shadows of the Empire sometimes now, and my daughter's like watching or whatever, and she's picking up on it. There's a lot of different ones, but I mean, yeah, I like other consoles too, but that's a really good one. It's just something I thought about. But anyway, Miss NY Gal, thank you for stopping by. Hope you're having a good Sunday. So yeah, the conversation has devolved into finances and stuff like that. So I'll probably get off here. And speaking of finances, I need to go make some dollars. Need to go make some extra cash so I can stack some of those things we're talking about. Probably go DoorDash around town. I like Sundays because and Saturdays. Thank you. Because there's no traffic. There's no 5 o'clock traffic. One of the worst things about door dashing is the 5 o'clock traffic. It sucks. So Sundays and Saturdays, no 5 o'clock traffic. It's the same all day. And it's 3:38. So we'll get a good run here. The reason I'm doing the live streams at this time, by the way, is because this is the slow time of the day. So there's not a lot to be done on these days, or at this hour. I'll probably get a few orders here and there, but if I'm going to pick a time to hang out with you guys, it's going to be now. But anyway, are you doing any diamond painting, or are you playing video games today? Doing some live streaming in NY Gal? Got any crazy plans? I'll try to stop by if you do some live streams later. But I'll be working. I've got 2 phones. Sometimes I'll pop in and I'll say hello while I'm waiting. And I have 2 phones, so sometimes I'll just leave it on the phone. I'll just go, you know what I mean, and get do my thing because I got the other phone that I work on. And same with you, you know, all of you. I try to get around and see all you guys as much as possible, but I'm working, you know, a lot, like every day or whatever. So, but anyway, all right. So I'm gonna probably end the live here. It was fun hanging out. We got off topic. If you're watching this later, you're gonna be like, man, that's not the topic. I'm gonna have to change the title a little bit around. But I will probably get off here soon. Been a wild one. Mike Game here soon, just chilling currently. Well, there's nothing wrong with just chilling, you know. Nothing wrong with just chilling. You don't have to always be doing something all the time. You know what I mean? I feel like I do, but I don't. You know what I mean? The truth is, you really don't. Sometimes it's, I don't go fishing, but sometimes I think I probably should take it up. Probably good for my mental health, because I'm either working or filming something for one of these channels, or working, you know, or something, right? I do hang out with family sometimes, so I do that. You got to do that. That's my relaxed time for the most part. And then a workout. Go work out, run, walk, all that stuff. Well, stay low key. It's good to be low key, man. Less drama that way. Nobody needs the drama, right? Dude, if internet drama started, I would probably just get right off the internet. You know those dude, have y'all seen those people, those channels that are like have all this drama going on between each other? That's so wild, man. I don't know how they do it. I'll not be able to keep up with that. I have enough stuff um, going on already. Does my wife go out tour with me? What do you mean, like just like where I go exploring and stuff? Sometimes we did in our local city, the city that's nearby here recently. The other day, we did something really cool, it was like a trolley tour, and it was a historical tour of the city, which is really interesting because that city is pretty old. It's got like deep roots, right? So even before, like way before the Civil War, like Revolutionary War times, before that. So there's a lot of stuff, historical foundations and stuff, you know. And so we went and did that, and I didn't film a single thing all day. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to film anything. Um, but I took notes, so we're going to probably go back to some of those places and might do some videos. We did enjoy it. It was nice. We don't get a lot of time like that. We have multiple small children, you know, in the house. So it's rare that we get to go out and just enjoy the day or whatever. And so that was great. I loved it. And, but we don't get to do it a lot. But even that's our favorite thing to do too. So my favorite thing to do is explore. She likes to explore too, as well. So we do it together whenever we are together, and it always devolves into that, right? So it's just like our conversations here. We end up talking about, well, the things that we end up talking about over here. I might start the video talking about one thing, and then we end up talking about all this other stuff, and it's like the natural progression. I swear, like every time it ends up happening. But yeah, what ends up happening is we'll go out and we will explore. So this was a planned exploration actually, because you had to buy the tickets, and there's actually not but so many tickets for this particular thing. So you have to do it way in advance. And so we did, and it was nice. It was cool. It reminded me how much I kind of want to be an archaeologist, or at least I did when I was growing up, right? And in a way, I guess I do things that reflect that, right? When I go explore and stuff like that. But they had an archaeologist who was giving the tour because it's all historical stuff, and she was telling us all about these buildings and stuff, and it was really dope, man. And I was like, man, I want her job a little bit, you know what I mean? She get to study all this stuff, and then you go get these tours. I think I could do it. I think I could do it, you know. But you got to go to school. You got to go, you know what I mean? It's just, you can't just go be an archaeologist. I wish you could, because I would do it. I could probably volunteer somewhere over there, you know, and do some, like sweep the floors or something, right? Thoughts change quickly. Yeah. Well, and I think everything's interconnected. So, you know, I say that all the time, but the truth is, I think it is. And so, yeah, well, we were talking about finances, and we were talking about cars, and we were talking about physical media, right? And to me, it's like, I could tell you how all those things are connected, and you know what I'm saying? Like, that would just be the conversation. Could be just like, yeah, finances are important. That's why you shouldn't buy cars that you can't afford and make payments that you can't afford, right? And it's also why you should buy physical media instead of paying all this money to streaming services or whatever. And once you buy it, you bought it, and then you can sell it, and blah blah blah, and it's all connected to me. So it ends up being that way. I want to be an investigator badly, but have to be a cop first. Go through the ranks. Yeah, you can't can't just put on the hat, the Sherlock Holmes hat, right? It'd be cool though. I mean, I'll wear the hat, but I guess it doesn't really mean you're an investigator or like a private investigator. I would never pass the fitness test. 100%. So that's out the window. I don't know about that because you know what? I don't know your level of fitness. I've seen some police officers that are, they don't look like they passed the fitness test, but apparently they did. So, you know what I mean? I'm old, so it won't happen. Yeah. You can probably, I don't know if you could be a private investigator without being a police officer first, but it's possible. You could probably work for a private investigator. Find a PI, man, and work for them. That could be fun. Could be dangerous. Could be adventurous. It's intense though. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it would be intense, especially if you're, so private investigators, isn't that mostly like people spying on their wife or their husband or something like that? I don't know if I want to do that. It's not really like, you're not really solving the case, you know? It's not like you're solving murder cases or whatever. I guess you gotta start somewhere. Like Dexter. Avoid streaming. Oh yeah. Yeah, I can't say that, but yeah. That's probably gonna come back in a big way, actually. I don't know. So I've noticed the up and coming generation has kind of like they hit a wall with it and they're like, dude, they're ready to, you know what I mean, to rebel. And so maybe they'll figure it out that you can do that and they'll probably start doing that. We used to do it all the time, right? And LimeWire and stuff. I'm not saying we, I'm saying like my generation, whatever. You know, everybody had a friend back then that could make you CDs. Like, oh, bro, I got CDs. You want some CDs? I got good songs. I got a playlist. Check them out. People used to do that, man. Used to burn CDs and sell them. It was a hustle. You don't have any streaming services? That's good. So what do you do? Just nothing? I mean, as far as TV and watching TV, though. I mean, so like, first of all, I think we could do without watching TV in general, for sure. More and more recently, I've been rediscovering movies. I hadn't watched movies forever. I haven't watched a lot of the new movies. I'm not really interested in watching a lot of the new movies, actually, because a lot of them suck. But I have rediscovered some of the old ones, and I'm watching them. And my oldest daughter is at the age now where, you know, she can watch some of the movies, and so I can watch them with her and enjoy that. So we have that going, and so that's been fun and interesting. This is TV now. Well, yeah, that's true. You know what? And for a lot of people, actually, the statistics show that too. These are that more people are watching YouTube on TV than ever, and like probably more than a lot of other platforms. So this is TV for a lot of people. And the cool thing is this TV where we can interact and connect too. We're not just like snobbish like actors that, you know, you'll never meet and that are just in a whole different class of person, or at least they think they are. They're really not. We're all in the same class. Some guy was talking about that the other day. So on my other channel, I have other things that I watch on there. You should check out my other channel, Real Thoughts Project. It's or Real Thoughts Project. You could say it either way, but that's what it is. You should check that out. You might like some of the stuff that I'm doing over there. But on that channel, there's different people, you know. And so one of the guys over there that has another channel, he was talking to me. He's like a millionaire, you know, whatever. And but he was like a regular millionaire, and he was talking about how the difference between billionaires and millionaires is such a big gap. People don't realize that. So a lot of people, I've been talking to a lot of Gen Z people too, right? And they're like, oh yeah, you know, like the older people are oppressing us and stuff. And I'm like, dude, no. Those people are working hard too and oppressed just as much as you are. It's like the difference in between somebody who's just a millionaire, who's got the house and a car, and they're basically trying to pay for everything and keep whatever little wealth they have going, but they have to work hard for it, and they've had to work hard for it and constantly working. And a billionaire, or like people in that class, is a night and day. And it's like if the millionaires here, the people working at McDonald's is here, and the billionaires are like up here somewhere. Like it's a whole different game, you know. So basically, we're all in the same. And a lot of actors, like most actors, unless they're like A-list actors, they're in that same class with the rest of us. But a lot of people act snobby, right? So they're like, I'm an actor, you know. So on YouTube, we get to all connect and be a part of the whole thing. Can't figure out how to get my free TV back. I miss baseball. Can you do an antenna? So some places you can still do antenna, and digital TV is still a thing. But where I live, I'm out in the country, and I can't seem to get the antennas to work. I don't think they're powerful enough to get. I don't think they have the reception to get into the city where the signals are coming from. Albly red. That's true. We do. And everybody. So there's a lot of forces right now. This is the kind of stuff I talk about on Real Thoughts Project, guys. So you should go over there and subscribe if you're not. I think I got like 24 subscribers. You could be one of the first. And check out some of the videos or whatever over there, because that's what I'm kind of gonna get at, and we're getting to that. Everybody's being divided, you know, and the thing is, we're all people, right? And so, but social media is full of ways to divide and conquer. And it's like we're fighting against each other based on all kinds of stuff. Like at one point in time it was race. At one point in time it was it was sex, right? And it's become age. Even it's become the different jobs that you have. It's like, well, I work at McDonald's, you work at, you know, whatever, you're an overlord over me. And it's like, no, dude, we're all in the same boat, really. I mean, everybody's got to work. It's like, you know what I mean? The more closer we get to realizing that, it's like, okay, then you're gonna treat your fellow man a little bit better, and then we can actually collaborate, and we'll probably end up having a better life overall together, right? Together but separate. I mean, you have your individual lives, but you get what I'm saying. It's like if I just hate on you all the time because you're not in the same position exactly that I'm in, it's not gonna do me any good. That is literally zero freaking good. If you could connect in some way, there are potential for good things to happen, right? If we're both YouTube channels, if we could, you know, and we hate on each other, well, I guess hate sells, so we could probably make more money on that. But what I'm saying is, if we collaborate, things can happen that you would never believe, right, would have happened, but they can happen. They're good things. But if you're just like, oh, I'm not gonna watch that dude's channel because I don't want him to like be successful or something like that, and you just don't even communicate or interact, you're just leaving a lot on the table where it could be much better. Life could be a lot better. And what I was saying in one of these things was like, if you're working at McDonald's as a crap job, and like this Gen Z, like the Gen Z debate thing, you know, and it's like they call it the Gen Z stare, but like a lot of the kids, I mean, I get it where they're coming from, but they're like, I don't want to talk to you for this minimum wage job. And I'm like, but you guys are missing the point. You're kind of self-sabotaging, because if you would just have a conversation sometimes, like maybe somebody's got the job you want and they walk in the door and you have that conversation with them, you could end up with that job, and then you've upgraded. Now you're no longer a McDonald's employee, right? So it's the way I look at it. I try to look at the things that can go well rather than things that are going wrong, right? What can we get out of this whole thing? Where we can help each other and both advance. We can all advance, right? So you just never know. But if you're closed off and you're just hateful or resentful, and like I totally understand the reasons, but the result of that is not going to be very good, you know. Especially, and so it's the same thing with like the sexist fighting back and forth on the internet. You know, there's like men are blah blah blah, and then there's men who are like, you know, women today. It's just, and it's, I get it. Both of them probably have some kind of a point, but the fighting thing is not going to work, man. At the end of the day, we got to work together if we're going to have babies. You know what I mean? It's just how it is. You know, I guess we could have society just completely die out, but I don't know if that's the option we really want to do. So, yeah, I mean, people need to just realize that the other person is probably going through things too. We all have issues. We have good days. We have bad days. Somebody might be having a bad day. It's hard. I'm interacting with people like this all the time. Dzar, you probably see it when you're outdoor dashing. You see people, you know, that are in a bad mood or whatever, but you know, you don't know what they got going on. And the Gen Z people, like, I feel for them because they grew up on the phones, you know. We choose to be on the YouTube channels and stuff and watching this as TV, but they don't know any other way to communicate in a lot of cases. So we talk about this on Real Thoughts Project. If you are not subscribed, you should go over there and subscribe. Real Thoughts Project, where real thoughts project. Just plugging my second channel there. Got to do it, dude. I got to do it. I got to grow these channels so that we can actually have an impact. I'd like to have a good impact on people's lives, if possible. So, all right, let's check everything out. You guys doing good? I'm going to, what time is it? About 4 o'clock. So I got a 4:30 to 10 o'clock. I can get a good shift in, and I can do pretty good with this with DoorDash if I get going here in a little bit. It's a nice day out here. It's a little bit hot, but I think it's going to be good. Media companies are like, oh, hold on, I'm sorry. Media companies are like being in a goldfish bowl. Yeah. Yeah, so what do you mean by that, Fever Dream? I think I know what you mean, maybe, but do you mean like everybody can see you? Because I feel like I'm in a goldfish bowl right now, and you guys are just watching. No, I'm just playing. Or is it like you're stuck in a bubble where, because there is these bubbles, these information bubbles, right? I've noticed it. If you guys want to do something to see this, don't look at YouTube and Google through your normal profile. Go into another profile of another person, like if they let you, you know what I'm saying? You can do this with people. This is the reason we need to talk to each other. And go and look through that profile either through a blank, or look at Google and YouTube either through a blank profile that hasn't been set up yet, that doesn't have an established algorithm, or other people's. You know, get 5 or 6 people and like look through their feeds, and you'll see these different realities unfold. Like you wouldn't even, we forget that we're not all looking at the same thing. You know, like politically, if somebody's, that's why I try to get away from the politics. If somebody's conservative, they're seeing a bunch of different stuff that's geared towards people who are conservative to make them more conservative. And if somebody's progressive or whatever, they're seeing a bunch of stuff that's highly progressive information that is geared towards keeping them or making them more progressive. It's going like that. There's not a lot of content on the internet that's like, you know what I mean? And so that's what the other channel is about. And of course, that's what our conversations are always going to end up being, because it's just the way I look at the world, man. I don't want to pick political sides. Now, I'll pick a side on things I believe in, good versus evil, things like that, for sure. But politically, I don't see that any of them are really doing anything but polarizing people against one another. And I know for a fact from reading historical accounts of how this stuff works that they have a reason to do that. There's a good reason why they keep people suspended in outrage, you know, to be angry at one another on a regular basis. All right. Echo chamber of ego. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, dude, I was doing Donald Trump impressions the other day. You guys should check that out if you haven't seen it. All right, cool. Look, guys, it's been fun. I'm glad you guys stopped to hang out with me today. If you stopped in for any period of time, I appreciate you. I'll try to get back to you and stuff and catch up with everybody. I'm going to go DoorDash now. I'm going to go try to make a few extra dollars. We'll stack some VOO, some SCHD, some other stuff, and keep the train rolling, keep surviving, keep paying those taxes, because I ain't got a choice. I ain't got a choice, man, and neither do you. So anyway, but yeah, and if you're still in here, definitely, like I said, go check out the other channel, Real Thoughts Project. It's my talks channel where we talk like this, but it's just little clips of me talking like this. But as soon as I get like 50 subscribers over there, we might go live there too. It's a bit more serious, but we got to have a place for that. All right, guys. With that said, I'm going to get off here. I appreciate each and every single one of you, and I'll catch you on the next one. I'm out.